free hearing evaluations, and the latest in digital hearing aid technology, visit Digital Hearing Systems in Palm Desert and Big Bear. Welcome back, folks. Chain migration, the visa lottery program are literally putting Americans' lives at risk and killing us. We now have another terrorist attack. It wasn't as bad as it could have been in New York City.
New York, yeah.
Another guy that shouldn't have been here, basically.
Absolutely correct.
So the first thing you hear from all those people on the left-wing side of things is, well, he had nothing to do with chain migration, had nothing to do with illegal immigration. It has everything to do with letting people in the country unvetted, unchecked, and having a chain migration, which means anyone in their family can basically come.
You know, the thing that really gets me more is
sanctuary cities.
This is not only unconstitutional, it's aggressively against the United States of America. We have a laws in this country that we take care of our own people and our own ways of doing business. When they say that Chicago is a sanctuary city, Los Angeles is a sanctuary city,
Any big city in America.
Yeah, and the three worst states, I say without any hesitation, California, Illinois, and New York, all great Democrat states. And I say this not for political reason. I'm saying it's everything that the Democratic Party backs is against what's good for the United States of America.
That's pretty much exactly right. Up to and including booing the reference of God and Israel at their own convention. I don't know if you remember that from 2012.
Yes,
they actually booed God. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than that. But you're right, they're on the wrong side of every single issue. Kate Steinle's killer got let go. We have another illegal immigrant from Vietnam, but still, shouldn't have been here to begin with.
Exactly.
A lottery visa program. So you get your name pulled out of a hat, and because your name got pulled out of the hat, you get to come to the country willy-nilly.
You know, I hate to say this, it's amazing we have as little problems as we've had when we make it possible to have much bigger problems by the way we're opening our country up to the worst elements of the world that can come into the country anytime they wanted to. When they let go of the guy that killed that beautiful girl in San Francisco, and they let him go. He's been out of this country 5 times.
Deported 5 times.
That's right, and he comes back each time, and he'll probably come back and pull another stunt like that. And everybody will say, oh, isn't that too bad? There's something lacking today in the way we are managing the greatest country God ever put on the face of the earth.
Well, and the other thing about the Democrat Party is they're always on the side of the felon. They're always on the side of the lawbreaker.
Exactly.
Which is amazing to me that a city like San Francisco would allow their own citizens to be threatened. I mean, that's exactly what it comes down to. An illegal immigrant has more rights in San Francisco than a U.S. citizen.
You know what's sad about this? You just put your finger on something very interesting. If it were strictly political, it's one thing to have a political opinion. But if it's against your interest and your life alone, it should be a matter of interest to you, and you're for somebody taking a gun to your head and blowing your brains out, that's okay, because we are a sanctuary city or a sanctuary state.
Yeah.
And it's pathetic, but it's true.
So California has decided that they are on the side of the lawbreaker versus the citizen of the state.
And so has New York, and so has Illinois.
So it's really dangerous to even live in California or New York or Chicago because the government is not on your side.
You know, in a way, it's almost an act of God that on November the 8th, 2016...
It was an act of God.
Trump was elected. Now, when you and I talked, we thought Trump had no chance at all. She was flying in. She already had her party already to announce how wonderful things were going to be.
Her anointing.
She was going to close down all the coal mines. But don't worry, they were going to get paid through Medicare or whatever else you want to call it. And those 91 million people would be taken care of. Don't worry, they're not going to be starving to death. We have had the people on the other side of the fence from what you and I believe are not out for the good of this country. I say that unequivocally. They are doing it. The two people that are running the Democratic Party today are Schumer in the Senate and Pelosi in the House. I'll make the statement that they really don't care about the United States. They care about their position and how they can get back the majority for them.
I think that's true about most politicians.
Yeah, but what...
Most politicians care more about being reelected than anything else.
That may be true, but when it can ruin the whole country, then it's not something that you can just shake away anymore.
Well, how many of them actually come out against illegal, Muslim terrorism? The Democrats can't even say Muslim terrorism. They can't put those two words together. And a lot of Republicans can't either.
I'll say this very openly. I had written an editorial in the Desert Sun, which caused me to part company with them because I was using the word Muslim in a negative way. They shouldn't have done that. They are just as good as any of us we are. You know, it seeped into all elements of our society today. No matter how bad people are, if they are accepted as being
a protected
equal,
class.
They are a protected class. There's no question about it.
So you can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the results of what happens when you ignore reality. There are people blowing things up, and I don't remember the last time that it was an Irish guy from Boston.
Well, the thing that absolutely dumbfounds me is the fact that I would say in the last 20, 30 years, people just don't seem to know anything about history. You know, I write a daily column about I've gotten over 140,000 readers already. I'm not bragging about this. I'm only saying people say, gee, I didn't know about this. And the stuff that I write about is what you and I talk about. Not that big a deal. But they think, why didn't we know about it? Because they don't teach it. Even the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal one time, you know, we could say, well, they're a very conservative publication. I don't think they're much different than any other newspaper anymore. The New York Times, or the Boston
Washington
paper,
Compost,
or the Washington Post, which I laugh when I say this because Jeff Bezos. I've written a column about him, and I said someday that guy's going to be a trillionaire. This guy he's putting, retail business out of business. I mean, it's unbelievable what he's getting away. I mean, I respect him for that. He's doing it legally and so on. But the point is,
do you think he's running? Do you think it's a monopoly at this point?
Well, the question is, what's a monopoly? He's doing what the law allows him to do. He's not doing anything illegal. As long as he's doing anything that's legal by American standards, I don't consider that a monopoly. I think he's putting a lot of people out of business. He's putting a lot of stores out of business. He's putting Macy's and Gimbel's out of business. But the point is...
and he's also delivering products that people want at a price that they like and 2-day shipping that they're very happy with.
You just did a wonderful job of describing exactly what he's doing. No, I'm not against that. That's a competitive instinct of the American dream.
So this is the Homeland Security segment. How do you think Attorney General Jeff Sessions has been handling his job in terms of Homeland Security so far? I kind of give him a C, maybe a D. I'm not thrilled. I thought he would be a lot stronger.
I think you know what I think it is? The guys like Sessions, all these guys, what they're basically doing is they're trying to protect their jobs. They're not going to do anything to step on anybody's toes.
So then why didn't he just stay in the Senate? We could have saved this whole Roy Moore fiasco.
Tillerson, Secretary of State, a very fine gentleman. I am very proud of the fact my picture appeared together with him because we both were announced as distinguished Eagle Scouts. But he's leaving because I think he's a gentleman. He's a real American, And he's just not going to put up with all the limitations that are being put on him.
He doesn't like the swamp.
He doesn't like the swamp. Exactly correct.
It's not being done the way he's used to doing things.
And to me, he's a wonderful man. I mean, yeah, I do have things in common with him, sure. But I mean, what I know about him, he's a great guy. Sessions is okay, but Sessions isn't going to fight City Hall.
He's a lot weaker than I thought he was going to be.
No, he's going to do something to keep his job.
I think Giuliani would have been a better choice.
Of course he would have been better, but he would have talked back. You got to understand that. In the kind of governor we have today, and that's the trouble with Trump. If you talk back to him, he doesn't like you. He's going to tell you, either do it my way or you go to the highway. That's all.
That's the way it is.
It's no. I think we've got a lot of problems here, but the thing that absolutely shocks me to the marrow of my bones is how little people really know about the reality that you and I are discussing. We're discussing things now that most people don't even understand.
The people that I know personally that are the most aware, most of them are foreign. Most of my friends that come from England,
yes,
and
you've said that to me before,
Asia and Argentina, they know what's going on. They get it. They pay attention. My American friends, they couldn't tell you hardly anything.
I'll tell you, I'm not proud of being a German. I really am not. After Hitler, how can anybody be proud of being a German? But if it wasn't for my German background, I wouldn't know half the things I know today. And motivated to know more of the same thing,
right,
because of what you just said. Because they don't, Stanford doesn't want you to be that smart anymore. UCLA doesn't want you to be that smart anymore.
Yeah.
The University of Pennsylvania doesn't want you to be that. They want you to do what they want you to do.
Just get in line.
Get in line. If you don't, they may not pass you, and you're not going to get your degree.
Yeah.